Thank you again for joining this Lunch and Learn, a webinar where I will show you a few strategic tools on how you can master, not just create, but master your career and home while we are at home. You know, we are going through so much right now. And for us, it's so important that we have the tools to be able to balance it all. Thank you for everyone who is here. I truly appreciate you being here, and I hope that you are able to learn just a few things that will enable you to create and master balance. So if you are not familiar with me, my name is Latika Vines. I am the Boss Mom Coach. I am also a career development trainer, work and life balance trainer, and author. I am a wife, a mother of 4 girls, and I have overcome postpartum depression. I am sure many of us have experienced some sort of postpartum depression after we have had our children. Um, we are we are doing a lot as moms. We are doing so much, and when you have children, I don't know about you guys, but with me having 4, it was a lot. It was a lot. Please let me know in the chat how many children each of you have. But when I was pregnant with my 4th one, it was very stressful. It was very stressful because I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to be able to do all that I'm doing? You know, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. I live in Southern Maryland. So my commute to work was about 2 hours one way, sometimes more, depending on the weather and traffic and the time. And so here I am. I'm like, how am I going to, and I worked right in front of the White House. So I'm like, how am I going to be going back and forth to work and then coming, you know, making sure I'm here in Southern Maryland in time to pick up my kids from the bus stop. And I mean, it was just so many thoughts going through my head. And then when I was pregnant, I took a position because the position that I was in at the moment when I found out I was pregnant with my 4th child wouldn't allow me to work from home, wouldn't give me flexibility. So that was stressful enough. And so I, looked for another job in the federal government and found one, went over there, transferred, did a lateral movement over there. And so there I was in the position, and yeah, it afforded me the opportunity to have the flexibilities I needed, with my children. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I took this position only for the flexibility, but I'm not doing anything related to my career. Nothing. Not doing anything related to my career. I can't talk to people. I can't go to meetings. I couldn't really inspire people. And in the federal government, I was a trainer. I helped individuals develop their careers. So if it was becoming an SES, an executive director in the federal government, if it was just moving from a GS-12 position to a GS-13 position, I was there helping these individuals. I was coming up with plans to help them really be able to build their career. But here I was stuck in the mommy track, like, what am I doing? I'm helping everybody else in their career, and here I am on a mommy track doing nothing, doing nothing with my own career. And so those emotions became very heavy. Let me know in the chat if you've ever had those emotions where you just felt stuck, or maybe you felt like you were in the mommy track. And so here I am, and I'm like, what am I doing? I hate my job, literally hate my job. When I say I hate my job, I hate my job. Hate my job. And then I'm going back and forth commuting, and then my kids. So I have my baby, I'm breastfeeding her, I'm potty training another one, and then the other two are in school. And then my husband is like pulling on my shoulder, like, you gonna give me some time? I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm just trying to breathe, you know? And so all these emotions just came over me. And I got sick one day. I thought it was, I got a cold, but it didn't go away. So I went to the doctor. My husband forced me to go to the doctor. Went to the doctor. I had a sinus infection. But the doctor, my primary care, she's just awesome. And she said, what is going on with you? Because she knew there was something in my eyes that told her that there was something going on. And I was like, oh, nothing. And she was like, no, there's something going on. And here come the waterworks. Here come the waterworks. I am bawling. I mean, my eyes are out, like, just, I don't know what to do. I can't do this anymore. And my husband is not supporting me. And I'm doing everything in the house. And I hate my job. And my job, they don't value me. My kids are not listening. I'm snapping at my kids, at my baby, at my time. Rebecca was like 2. So I'm snapping at her because she's acting like a 2-year-old. And I don't understand it. I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know. It just was horrible. So she was like, okay, Latika, let's take a chill pill. And so we had to reverse. And she's like, you need to get some help. So she said to me, I don't know if you guys are familiar, when you come back after your you have your baby, your postpartum checkup, and you do the little questionnaire. Well, this was 8 months after I had Vivian, my 4th girl. So she had me do the questionnaire just for document purposes. But she was like, you have postpartum depression, and let me show you. And she pulled out a document. This is what postpartum depression is. And this is where you are. So you need to go talk to somebody, like, yesterday. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But it was so comforting to be able to talk to someone, and for someone to hear me, really just hear me, and say, you're going to be okay. Let's figure this out. And what is the one thing that's not making you happy? What are you unhappy about? Why are you not happy with where you are in life? And so that's when it was discovered, my career. That is the one thing that identifies me, is my career. That's the one thing that I can put my all in and be proud of. That's the one thing that I cherish. That's the one thing that is mine. It is mine. I worked my tail off to get to where I was, for it to like feel like it's crashing down. So if you've ever felt that way, I'm here and I've been there, because that was just me 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, in March of 2018, where I had to fall on my knees and literally say, okay, God, I need you to help me. And what I discovered is that there were so many other women who were like me, who are suffering, who are battling with a postpartum depression. It is a battle, and had those emotions that I had. So since then, I have been on a mission to make sure that other women like me are not feeling the same way that I am. So I'm just looking at the comments, and yes, Stacy said we're the same person. Yes, Stacy, we are. um, Tanisha, is it Tanisha or Tanisha? Tanisha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. But you say you feel that way now. You love your job, but you're ready for a change. Yes, yes, I feel you on that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And Michaela, I believe I am pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, please let me know, because I hate when people mess up my name. But yes, I can relate. I ended up changing careers, leaving the corporate world in order to spend time with my children and family. Yes. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I got your name correct. um, and Sydney, yes, it was overwhelming starting my business, my new business, along with my career and balancing my family. Yes. So I'm not sure about Tanisha and Michaela, but I know with myself, Stacy, and Sydney, we are working our 9 to 5 and or operating a business. We're not running a business. We're operating a business as business owners. And then our husbands, our families, it is a lot. It is really, really a lot. And it is a balance. It is a balancing act. It is a balancing act. And so, Michaela, you have 2 boys and 1 girl. That is awesome. And Sydney, blended family of 3. And Tanisha, you have 2. That is awesome. And Stacy has 4. um, Okay, so Tanisha is also a business owner as well and working her 9 to 5. So yes, it is a lot for us. It is huge, huge. Tanisha, tell us where you are. Michaela as well. Tell us where you are. Are you in the Washington, D.C. area, or are you joining us from somewhere else? Tell us where you are. I know myself, Sydney, and Stacy are here in the D.C. area. And the crazy thing is, okay, Tanisha's in Miami, Florida. Awesome. I hope that everything is well with you and your family. Everyone is safe right now, because I know Florida is real crazy with this coronavirus. Okay, awesome. Okay, so Michaela is in Jessup. I don't know, is that Anne Arundel or are you in Baltimore County, Michaela? I'm not sure, because I know there is a fine line. Like, Laurel is like Anne Arundel and Howard and PG all at the same time. And Michaela is a graduate student. So y'all, we have so much going on. We have so much going on our plates right now. And so that is why I truly believe that God didn't allow me to have postpartum depression for myself. And I'm going to say that again. I don't think he allowed me to have postpartum depression for myself. He allowed me to have that. And again, I said allowed, because God didn't make me, or he didn't put me in a situation to have postpartum, but he allowed me to have it so that I could be able to help other women like yourself overcome that and go back to the vision, that vision that we have for our lives. When we were little girls and we were 5 and said, I want to be a princess, or I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, those visions that we had, God placed in us. And so for me as a boss mom coach, I help these women go back to the original vision God had given them and be able to balance both their career and life so they can have a great motherhood experience, have a rewarding career, and have a satisfying marriage. Because we can't forget about our husbands. They need us too. So yes, so Jessup is in Howard. Okay, awesome. So it's so good. We're in Maryland. So myself, Sydney, Stacy, and Michaela, we are in Maryland. I think I'm on the far end of you guys. I am on the border of Virginia. So if you guys are familiar with the 301 bridge, I'm over on that end. So Michaela, I'm about 2 hours from you on the southern side of Maryland. But it's so good to have Maryland, the DMV, represented here. So yes, it is a lot. It is a lot for us. It really, really is. So I'm going to ask you, why are you here? Is it because you're struggling with overwhelm and you can't seem to find balance throughout the day? Is it that you're trying to be a mom and not lose it and excel at work, maintain some sort of virtual social life, drink enough water, exercise, text people back, stay alive, remain sane, all at the same time? Do you feel that your career and the development of your career has been jeopardized by this pandemic? Maybe you want to progress in your career, but you feel like the job opportunities are not available due to this pandemic. Maybe you feel guilty for being on the computer all day long and not spending enough quality time with your children or your husband. Or maybe you just can't get a handle on the house stuff and be able to spend time with your family and work at the same time. That is a lot. So in the chat, tell me some of the struggles that you are having right now when it comes to balancing work and life right now. Are you struggling with, being able to juggle it all? A good majority of us have these 9-to-5 careers, but we also have these businesses that prayerfully will move into full-time business owner, full-time entrepreneurship. That is a lot. That is a lot. So yes, balancing life, the juggle. Yes, it is a juggle. And I truly believe that we as moms, we are, I compare us to jugglers, entertainers. When you go to the circus and you see these jugglers, you see that they have 3 balls. They start off with 3 balls and they are juggling these 3 balls up in the air and trying to balance themselves. And if you ever pay attention to a juggler, they are balancing themselves and you'll see that their feet don't move and their core is very nice and tight, very nice and tight. And the only thing that may be moving is their arms, their upper body, as they are juggling these balls or whatever other objects they have in their hand. I truly believe we as moms are doing the same thing. We are juggling life, we are juggling work, and we are juggling ourselves. We are juggling life, work, and ourselves all at the same time. And if we don't have our feet planted firmly on the ground, and if we don't have a core that is strong enough to be able to juggle it all, then those things that were thrown up in the air, we're going to be going like this and going like this and going like this because we don't have the balance. Our core is not tight. Our strength is not there. Our endurance is not there to be able to juggle everything. And so today we're going to talk about that core, that foundation that you need to be able to juggle it all. So, Tanisha, you can't find balance and you feel like you're not having enough time, me time, and it started to wear you down. Yes. Okay. That is good. In our Okay, so Tanisha, you work for the government as well. Perfect. So one of the things, yes, it is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot, and you are doing a lot. And that's one of the things that in our Sydney spoke about this very briefly in an event that we had a few weeks ago called Real Talk. And those mommy moments, those times where we just need to be by ourselves, we need to have me time. We need to make sure that we have these routines, these daily routines where we can have time for ourselves. Because again, we're constantly pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring into everyone else. Picture a teapot. A teapot, you old school, you put your water in a teapot, you put it on your stove, and when it makes that whistle, it's hot. And so you're able to pour that hot water into the 4 or 6 teacups, and then everyone is able to enjoy their hot water with their tea. But in order to make more teacups, in order to make more cups of hot water, you got to fill that original teapot back up. And so, as moms, we have to figure out, we have to identify what are the things that are needed for us to fill ourselves back up. What do we need to fill ourselves back up in order to be able to pour into others? For myself, it is working out. It is working out. Thank God. I'm so grateful for this pandemic. Even though I've worked out before, now I am dedicated because I realize that my pouring in, my pouring into myself is working out. Me going to run every morning, me going to walk every other day, those are the times that I pour into myself. Those are the times where I'm praying. Those are the times I'm meditating. Those are the times that I may talk to a friend on the phone. Those are the times where I'm listening to a sermon. Those are the times that I'm listening to a podcast. Those are the times that I'm listening to a Bible scripture or having Bible study. Those are the times that are for me. And so when I'm going out and doing, so Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, I run. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, I walk. And Sunday is my rest day. So those days, I'm able to physically be able to work out, but emotionally and spiritually be able to fill myself back up. So really, if you can identify those things that you're able to fill yourself back up and do them on a consistent basis, and all it takes is really, and I love this because Abigail Barnes, she is the author of Time Management for Entrepreneurs. So if you are not familiar with her, she is in the UK. She's a best-selling author, and she's also a trainer, and she is the developer or founder of the 888. And what she says is so profound, is that if you think about it, we have only 888 hours in a day, which equals 24 hours. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of playtime. Time with your family, time for yourself, time for friends, whatever, our businesses. What are we doing with these times? They have to be so defined so that we can fit in time for ourselves. We can fit in time for our businesses and everything else. So it's so important that we are able to utilize our time wisely. It's so important. So the first thing I wanted to dig deep into is navigating our careers at home. You know, we have children, so we are navigating and thriving through working from home, and then also being able to tend to our children. I know for the DMV area, our schools don't start until August 31st. But I'm not sure in Miami if you started school yet. But it is so important that we're able to navigate through. One of the things that I have been saying is that we have to communicate with our supervisor. Whatever it is, we have to be able to communicate. So I actually put any meetings that the kids have, because we use Microsoft Teams for the kids to communicate with their teachers. Any of those meetings I put in my Outlook calendar. Any meetings I have for business, because sometimes we get those calls, that we need to take during our lunch hours or whatsoever. But I put those in my Outlook calendar too. Like, don't disturb me during this time, but I'm able to put it in my Outlook calendar and then have a very frank conversation with my supervisor. Like, hey, I can't do this. I can only meet at these times, or I'm going to be online at this time. And so during these times, I'm going to be with my children. I'm going to have lunch at this particular time. So really put it in your Outlook calendar. When are you going to have lunch with your kids? Put it in your calendar. When are you going to participate in meetings, or block off time in your calendar where you won't be participating in meetings? But have that in your calendar, and make sure that you're able to talk to your supervisor about what you can and cannot do. I know for myself, the first week of school I have taken off. I went ahead and put in some annual leave. Hey, when am I going to use it, right? So I put in some annual leave for the first week of school. Now, granted, that may not be the wisest decision, considering that I have a training event the week of September 14th, but my kids are my priority, and I need to make sure that I'm not stressed, because this is already going to be stressful for them the first week of school. It's not normal for them to, the first day of school, to be on the computer. It's not normal for them. So they're going to be going through some things that first week. So I took that week off. It's been approved, but what are things that you can do to make sure that you can be able to navigate? Yes. Okay. So Michaela, yes. The feeling of guilt. Yes. Mom guilt. Yes. While juggling everything. Yes. It is a lot. It is really, really a lot that we are doing. Yes. Yes, Sydney said, go ahead and create those boundaries. Yes, we have to create those boundaries. And Michaela, the same with you in creating those boundaries, making sure that you are able to communicate, hey, I can't do this particular time. Or do we really need to have this meeting? Does it really need to be video? Can you just send me an email with your question? Why are we having this meeting? Honestly. But it's so important that we create those boundaries with ourselves, with others, and in our physical space, within our physical space. So one of the things that I've always said is that we have to see ourselves through a new lens. We have to get back to that career vision. And for many of us, that is our business, or if we're going to do both full time, what is it that we're supposed to do in our career? What is it that God wants us to have? And one of the things that we need to ask ourselves and, when we are looking at our jobs is, what value do I bring? What worth do I bring to this particular job? It's so important that we understand that we can answer that question to ourselves. What gaps do I fill that enabled me to be the best that I am, to be someone that is unstoppable? What are those gaps that I feel that make me valuable to this organization, and also to myself? And then, can you apply for stretch roles? And you may be thinking, what in the world, apply for stretch roles? But if we are looking to maneuver or navigate our way into other positions within our career, we can add in voluntary assignments, or we can go to those temporary assignments that give us extra skills, enhance our skills that we have, and then give us extra skills because we're working on things that we typically are not able to during, our regular 9 to 5. Now, for our businesses, it is so important. And I just read or listened to a YouTube video before I came on with you guys today. And it was from a woman, her name is Laura. I think she's in the UK, but her message was so clear that we as women are about to birth a movement. We are, I've always said prophetically that 2020 was going to be my year of harvest, that I was going to be productive, and that all these things were going to come to me by God's grace and mercy. But we as women, this is our year, this is our season of harvest. So God has allowed such a time as this for it to come, for us to be able to see how we are mothering our children, how we are spending time with our husbands. He is allowing us to see. I know He's allowing me to see that it is possible for me to be able to leave the job that everyone, and especially here in the DMV, you got to work for the government. It's allowed me to see that it is possible for me to leave that good old government job and work for myself. So, what is God telling you when it comes to your vision, that career vision or business vision that He's given you? Is He saying that this is your season? This is your season of harvest. Yes, it may look hard on the outside, but think about it. Our God is so much bigger than what we can naturally see. So it's so important that we can see ourselves through a new lens, and then leverage the power of the networks. It is so important that we can network during this time. And you may be saying, wait a minute, I don't even have time to bathe. How do I have time to network? And let me tell you this. I have been able to really 5 minutes, 5 minutes, find somebody or go on a certain social media platform and type in a word or a phrase, and people's profiles will pop up. And then I will go ahead and send a message. And I have done that on Facebook. I have done that on Instagram. And I really have done that on LinkedIn. I really concentrate on building my LinkedIn profile, my network on LinkedIn. And that has afforded me the opportunity to meet so many amazing women who have helped me in my business. And all it takes is 5 minutes a day to do that. And I do that first thing in the morning before anybody gets up in the morning. That is what I do, just 5 minutes a day. And I do that. And what it does, it really helps me to be able to really expand myself so that I can be okay. Okay, and Sydney said she also had to stop apologizing to her kids. It is what it is that she's at home with them. Yes, this sucks for all of us. It really, really does. But the beautiful thing is that we're all at home with our children. And if you're like me, that is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be home in the summer months with my kids, and God has blessed me to be able to do that. So now what am I going to do with that time? And then the fourth thing in navigating your career at home is to be able to invest in yourself. So when you are investing in yourself, that is the one investment that will always have an ROI, always have a return on investment. So you can continue to grow your skills. I'm an advocate for LinkedIn Learning. I think it's the premium, LinkedIn Premium. I think it's like $49 or $59 a month. But with that includes all of the learning. You can get certifications on LinkedIn. You can get, and these are all included in LinkedIn Learning, so no additional cost. But you can get all these things, and it's about an hour. Most of the video trainings are about an hour. But think about it. You can have the video playing as you're cooking dinner or, tending to the kids, playing with them. You can have it in the background. And you're enhancing your skills, something that you can put on your LinkedIn profile, something that you can put in your resume. But it's so important that we continue to invest in ourselves. And again, building those strong relationships and building our network. I'm going to say LinkedIn all the way, but whatever social media platform you use to build your network, definitely do that. But what you're doing is investing in yourself. You truly are investing in yourself. And so one person that I was talking to, they were having a hard time with, you know, balancing it all. And what we determined is that we really have to have these communication. We really have to have these talks with our supervisors on our schedules. You know, like Sydney said, creating those boundaries. So this particular young lady was able to talk to her boss about having a more permanent schedule. And so now she has time to be with her family. Before, it was very stressful because she was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? But after talking with me, she was like, okay, I think I can do this. I think I can go to my supervisor and say, this is what I need. This is how I need it. And then he was like, sure, I was just waiting on you to call me. So it's so important that we can do that. Now, when we are at home, it's also important that we can manage our homes, you know, because our homes are our priority. That is our safe haven. That is our sanctuary. That's where peace resides. So it's so important that we are able to manage or maintain our homes. Now, one of the things that I am an advocate for is involving your children. We have to involve our children. My youngest is 2, and she knows how to clean up her room, put her dirty clothes away, hang up her towel, put her dishes in the sink. So when she's done her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or her snack, she knows how to put her cups and her plates and all that stuff away. So it's so important that we involve our children in these activities. Now, you may say, I don't know if my children are ready, but we don't know if our children are ready if we don't allow them to be ready. So it's so important that we give it to them. We really, really give them what it is. And some things that they can do is they can sort and fold laundry. They can empty the dishwasher. My 7 and 8-year-old, that's what they're responsible for. Wipe down the counters, vacuum, put away their toys, take their trash out. And one thing I do want to say, because someone had said, oh, I have daughters. Girls are not supposed to take trash out. But one of the things that I've learned um, along the way is that you want to make sure your daughters can take the trash out. Because in 20, 30 years from now, when they are living on their own and they have they're building their empire and they have, you know, their homes, they're not going to want a man. They're not going to desire to have a man to take their trash out. They're going to be able to take their trash out themselves. And the person looked at me and said, what are you talking about? I said, think about it. Our daughters, we don't want our daughters, you know, at 25, 30 years old to say, oh, I can't take my trash out because I don't have a man in the house. You know, because then that starts thinking of, oh, I can't do this because I don't have a man. And so I'm going to just get a man so that he can fulfill these roles in the house. When you don't just need to go get a man, you need to make sure that the man that is coming to you is the one that's sent by God. And so then that person was like, oh, okay, I get it. But it's so important that, you know, our daughters can do things that, quote unquote, men can do in the house too. I know growing up, my father had me and my sisters and my brothers building toy boxes, building tree houses, fixing cars, painting, doing all that stuff. He had us doing all of it because he wanted all of us to be well-rounded and know what it is to maintain a home. And then you also can schedule your cleaning and housework into your day. So as you are, you know, thinking about all of the um, things that your kids have to do for the day, you can schedule your cleaning as well. You know, maybe you take a break at 11:30 to 1 o'clock, and that's when you take 15 minutes to clean one bathroom. 15 minutes to clean one bathroom, and then, you know, after that 15 minutes you go off and, you know, you play with your kids or do whatever. But you can do that in your day, just small increments. Your time blocking and taking just certain time for you to do these chores, so by the end of the week it's not all this work that you have to do for cleaning your house. And then prepare for your day. So when can you allot time for your household chores? Can you prepare your meals ahead of time? And then what is one way that you can prepare your evening for the next day? And as I said on the onset, putting everything in your Outlook calendar. So it's a reminder to you, and then also you've blocked it so that others won't try to send meeting invitations during that time. They know that you aren't available at that time. But it's so important, as Sydney said, to make sure that we create these boundaries. And then share with your husband. So one of the things that I've always said is that when we are able to share the load with our husbands, we're able to nurture our relationships later. So, my husband, he is in charge of the dishes. So he will do the dishes as I will take care of, we call my kids by numbers, 3 and 4. So I'll make sure 3 and 4 have their baths and they're ready for bed while he's taking care of the dishes and the kitchen. Well, while he's doing that, that allows the two of us to come together and be able to nurture our relationship because both things have been taken care of. So what are things that you can do to share with your husband to make sure that later you can nurture your relationship? Now, the 3 tools that I believe a mom can thrive, especially during this time period, are setting boundaries, having a support system, and recentering yourself. So we talked about this a little bit, but it's so important that we have these boundaries. And I believe that these boundaries should be set in 3 areas: physical, emotional, physical boundaries for yourself. So those emotional boundaries, and then boundaries with others. So physical boundaries are having spaces just designated for you designated for you. And that can be a space in your house that only you can go to. And that's where you may do your work, or maybe some people say a prayer room, a prayer closet, whatever's the space for you. Now, for myself, when I looked around and I said, oh my goodness, I don't have any space in my house for me. My husband has the basement. He has a section of the basement, and he has an office. But what about me? Well, we have an unfinished basement, and so we just took a part of the basement, and that's my area. So in an unfinished basement, I have been able to create a space that is for me, that my kids cannot go to. It is just for me. And when I'm done for the day of doing whatever, I can close things down and go back to do what it is that I need to do, be wife, be mom, whatsoever. So can you create a space in your house that is just for you, a corner, something that is just for you that you can go to and have your retreat to? The second boundary is for yourself. So as we are in the house doing everything, can you create breaks? Can you create time where you are just doing nothing? Really, what can you create that allows you to have that time to yourself? What rules can you set for yourself? Do you log on at a certain time, and do you log off at a certain time? Remember, on the onset, I said we have 8 hours to work, 8 hours to sleep, and 8 hours of playtime. So those 8 or 9 hours, depending on the schedule that you have, do you have an on and do you have an off time? And do you have a break time? And be firm in setting those boundaries and make sure that nobody interferes with those boundaries. Now, boundaries for yourself, boundaries with others. We should not neglect ourselves to fulfill everyone else's needs. Again, we should not neglect ourselves to fulfill everyone else's needs. So we have to ask ourselves, what can we say no to? Do we really need to participate in that meeting? Can it really just be an email or a phone call? Do we really need to talk to that person? For me, one of the things I realized is that certain people I never knew that I was in toxic relationships with. Do I really need to be in a toxic relationship? No. Do I need to be in a relationship with you? No, I don't. I don't need to be in a relationship with you. So I don't need to have conversation with you. I can reduce my stress by not even being bothered with you. What boundaries can you set with others to help you be okay? And then a support system. I truly believe that we need support in each and every single way. And that support can look like in three ways: emotional, physical, and spiritual. So, emotionally, who is the one person? If it is your husband, great. If it's not your husband, who is the one person that you can go to dump everything to? Any emotion, any fear that you have, who's the one person that you can go to dump those things, and has the emotional maturity, the emotional intelligence to handle what you are going to dump onto them, and you won't feel judged by dumping it onto them. The second is the physical. Who can physically support you? Yes, we are at home. We are, in this pandemic, so not everybody can come to our house. But can you create a support system where people can virtually watch your kids? Let's say you have a very important meeting, and you need silence, you need concentration, you need to focus in this meeting. Maybe you're giving a presentation during this meeting, you cannot be interrupted. Can someone virtually watch your kids as you are in another room giving your presentation? Can the grandparents watch your children? Can you have virtual play dates with people that you trust, where they can watch your children? Maybe they have children as well, but they can watch their children as you are on this phone call, or you may be in the shower, or whatsoever. But how can others support you physically in a virtual way so that you can handle what you need to handle? And then the third is spiritual. Who can you call to say, I need you to pray right now? Or those who want to pray for you each and every single day and say, I got your back because God told me to pray for this particular need right now, and I'm going to do it. Who can you go to that you can pray, that they can pray for you, and be that support that you need, especially in a time like this? So those are three individuals that you need in your life to be really able to balance work and life and a business. So it's so important that we identify those individuals, and then be able to recenter ourselves. So this goes back to the self-care, pouring into ourselves, filling ourselves back up before we pour into others. So one of the things that I say is that we have to make sure we make the first 15 minutes matter or count. So in the first 15 minutes of waking up, can you pray? Can you meditate? Can you read a devotion? Can you stretch? Is there something that you can do for yourself that will allow you to be able to pour into yourself, to fill yourself back up, where you won't be so overwhelmed later? It's so important that we can, make sure that we are okay. Um, Yes, yes. And it's every day, and it's just 15 minutes a day when you first wake up in the morning. So I challenge everyone, first 15 minutes of your day, maybe you have to wake up 15 minutes before everyone else, but I guarantee you that when you set aside just 15 minutes a day just for yourself, your energy the rest of your day, your achievements for the rest of your day, your attitude for the rest of your day will be so much better because you took the time to make yourself a priority, to be able to make sure everyone else is a priority. Because everyone else and everything else is a priority, but as women, as moms, as wives, as career women, we are a priority as well. And we cannot forget that we are a priority. We cannot forget that we are a priority. Think about it this way. When Jesus came to Mary and Martha got so upset because she was over here being busy doing everything else, where Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet and being fed, she was being poured into. She was wiping his feet, she was serving him, she was serving Jesus, but she was being fed. Can you imagine being fed by Jesus? Can you imagine? So let's be like Mary, where we are being fed on a regular basis, whatever that means for you. But take that first 15 minutes of the day to focus on you, to make yourself a priority. And I guarantee you that if you do it for a week, just to see how it is, I guarantee you by the end of that week, you'll have more focus. You'll be intentional on making sure that you make yourself a priority, and you'll see your attitude change. And you see that you'll be a little bit more happier because of that. And so after sharing that with a client, she said now she sets time each day to focus on me so that she can deal with her stepsons and her husband. So it's so important that we're able, again, to focus on ourselves, to make sure that we are a priority. We are a priority before going into our day, making sure everyone else is okay. So let me ask you this question. Are you ready to gain the clarity and confidence to have better work and life balance? Are you ready to not lose it? Are you ready to build a system that will allow you to be more productive with your family, productive with your time, and present with your family? Are you ready to gain the steps needed to get to the next level in your career? Or are you ready to be able to prioritize yourself so that you can pour into others? Now, after today's webinar, you can continue to struggle with finding balance in your day. You can continue to be overwhelmed with the pressure of working from home while tending with your children. Or you can continue to feel guilty for spending time, so much more time on the computer and not so much with your husband or children. Now, in this program, Work It, Life Itself It, it is a 3-month program where I sit with you to help you create this life and career management solution, because career and life have to blend. They have to be in harmony. They have to integrate. They have to be one. But it allows you to be more present with your family, to be more productive with your time and resources, and to be prosperous in your career. And so with that, you're able to create an action plan so that you can balance life. You'll be able to have individualized strategies to help you prioritize yourself, and then create the habits and the routines that will allow you to balance, instead of having a checklist on your phone or a to-do list on your phone of the things that you have to do. And in this program, you receive the support, the motivation, and guidance from me to be a boss mom, to be the boss of your career, someone who owns her career, whether it's in government or in your business, but you own your career. You are in control of your career, and to be a great mom at the same time. And that is the Boss Mom Foundation. I talked a little bit about this on the onset. But I truly believe that we as moms, when we have that foundation, we can truly balance. We can master work and life balance. So the 3 pillars of success to that foundation is self-awareness, smart work, and strategy. Now, self-awareness, in this program, I teach you how you can get clear priority clear priorities set you apart. I teach you how they can set you apart by making sure that you're clear on what identifies you, that you can assess what is important, what your priorities are. Identify your career strategic vision, which is what is the vision God has given you, and how can you go about doing that? By creating an individual development plan, a training plan, an action plan on how you can achieve your career goals. And then identify those barriers or roadblocks, and then learn how you can defeat them. And then the second pillar, smart work, where you can create balance so you can succeed, where you can create the productivity you need so that you can identify the balance you need to focus on your career and identify that system. That system is what saves you stress, time, energy, and money so that you can do both life and your career. Identify your boundaries and your support system, and then how to reduce and block the overwhelm that we all are experiencing. And then the third pillar is strategy, where I help you streamline your life. So streamline that system, identify that system, and put it into implementation, into action. And then create that communication strategy. How you going to tell your family, look, I'm going over here and I'm going to do this career? Or like, I think it was Tanisha was saying, where you wanted to move, but you don't know how. How are you going to communicate that with your family? How do you confidently say, I don't want to be here anymore? I'm not happy anymore. I don't want to be in this position anymore. This position is not doing anything for me. This place is not doing anything for me. It's too fast paced for me. I need to slow down. How do you have that communication with your family, with your job? And so I help you develop that strategy on how to communicate that. And then how to be focused, because it's so important for us to be intentional. I call it purposely focused. How are we going to be purposely focused, intentional on what it is that we want? What is going to motivate us? What is going to guide us and support us to be focused on that vision? Now, in addition to learning the Boss Mom Foundation in the Work It Life It Self It program, you also will get an additional coaching session on how to see yourself through a new lens. So we briefly talked about, making sure that you identify the value and the worth that you bring to an organization, but what does that look like really? And we get into the weeds. And then make sure that you are ready for that next promotion. What does that need? What does that look like for you? And then make sure you brand yourself, because you are your career. You are, when you walk in the room, what your career is what you are wearing, not physically, but emotionally and spiritually. What are you wearing to say, this is me and this is the professional that I am? And then your LinkedIn profile, making sure that you can use LinkedIn to increase your awareness so others know that you are this boss mom, that you have this career vision and you are after it. And then the second bonus is the Boss Mom Society, which is a 12-month membership where you can gain monthly expert advice on various topics related to advancing your career. We will have things in there for your business, but it's more so that you can be able to do both while living a balanced lifestyle and have the opportunity to have a community of women around you who are supporting you and motivating you in this journey. So, what are you waiting for? This program is for you. This program is available at a $400 savings at $697 right now, and monthly payments are available. So you can go ahead and go to this website and click on the link under working together, and you can see this link for you to check out Work It Life It Self It, and it gives you more details about the program and what you can do to enroll in the program. So, would it be worth it if you no longer were overwhelmed, if you were able to spend more time with your family, you were able to apply and receive that new position, and you can confidently ask for the flexibility you need to be able to balance both work and life? Would it be worth it for you? So let's say you might have some objectives. You're like, I don't know. You know, maybe you're wondering, like, how are you going to have time to be able to attend and focus on coaching calls? You already don't have enough time as it is. Or maybe you believe that a coach isn't necessary to achieve work and life balance. But I tell you this, it is so important to be with someone who's been where you are, who's experienced, who's walked in your shoes and has overcome. Yeah, you can get some great strategies off of Google and YouTube, but it's nothing like someone to say, I was just where you were, and this is what helped me. This is how I was able to come out of it. You and I will work together to create an individualized system that is just for you and your family. And you'll be able to receive the support and the motivation to achieve your career so that you can be the boss of your career and be a great mom. And then you'll have the steps needed to build your foundation. Build your foundation so that you can balance work and life. So I invite you to check out this link and to make sure that you can join this program, Work It Life Itself It. And if you're not ready, you can still book a call with me and we can talk about how you can get to the balance that you need so you will no longer have to be overwhelmed, that you no longer have to stress out about doing all of this, doing the juggle, and not being able to have your feet on firm ground. So I invite you to go ahead and check out that website and to enroll in this program so that you can be able to master work and life balance and that you'll be able to work it, life it, and self it. So I thank you for joining me today, for being able to participate in this webinar. We went over a little bit of time. I apologize, but I thank you so much for joining this webinar. You can feel free to check me out on the website, www.visionary-initiatives.com, email, or you can definitely find me on social media. And I just thank each and every single one of you for joining me today. It has been truly a pleasure.